Much. I appreciate that. Before we begin with questioning from each member, there are 3 standing yes or no questions that I will ask all of the 3 of you, if you could just respond. Do you agree, if confirmed, to appear before this committee or designated members of this committee and other appropriate committees of this Congress to provide information subject to appropriate and necessary security protections with respect to your responsibilities?
Yes, Senator.
Start.
Yes.
Thank you. Do you agree to ensure that testimony, briefings, documents, and electronic and other forms of communication of information are provided to this committee and its staff and other appropriate committees in a timely manner?
Yes, Senator.
Yes, Senator.
Yes, Chairman.
Thank you. Finally, do you know of any matters which you may or may not have disclosed that may place you in a conflict of interest if you are confirmed?
No.
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 Great. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start my round of questions, and I'm going to start with Mr. McMaster. You mentioned bridges, and I think you and I talked about bridges in when we had our meeting in the office, and I appreciate all of you for coming to visit. Our geography requires to have a lot of those bridges, so we need a strong federal partner in the FHWA. It's critical to our success. You know, a lot of progress was made and has been being made with the IIJA, but are there any policy and funding proposals that we should consider including in the next reauthorization, which we're beginning work on, to further address regionally significant or bridge projects?
Yes, Senator, I appreciate the question. I know you've...
Is your microphone on?
It is, sorry.
Okay.
Senator, I appreciate the question. I know you've been a champion for bridges, for the Federal Highway Administration. Bridge safety is a paramount importance issue. It's critical to the safety of our traveling public. It's critical to our supply chain. As we look to support reauthorization, there is work still yet to be done. Tremendous progress over the last few years. When I served at HNTB, I was fortunate to work in support of the Brent Spence Bridge, which after 20 years is now finally realizing development. I look forward to supporting you if I'm confirmed. I know it's of paramount importance for the Federal Highway Administration, and I look forward, if confirmed, to supporting your efforts through reauthorization to identify additional ways we can accelerate the maintenance and enhancement of our nation's bridge on the highway system.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Busterud, addressing PFAS is a top environmental priority that I share with Administrator Zilda, and I think they're making some announcements today. I was pleased to see the EPA release an agency-wide plan setting bold goals to tackle this crisis. If confirmed, you will be responsible for leading OLM's major role in this strategy, from updating PFAS destruction guidance to enforcing the polluter pays principle. How would you lead in this way and help us tackle this very difficult and far-ranging problem of PFAS contamination?
Well, thank you, Chairman. PFAS is a high priority issue for EPA, and the administrator on April 28th, as you noted, announced a suite of programs basically taking a whole of EPA approach to addressing PFAS across its major program offices. As you noted, and as we discussed in our conversation in your office, OLM will play an important role to increase the frequency of guidance we give on PFAS destruction. It has been every 3 years. We're going to commit to providing those updates on an annual basis, and there was great interest in that. OLM will also look at it and examine its RCRA authorities to prevent releases of PFAS from manufacturing facilities and other facilities which use PFAS. And you mentioned the polluter pays issue, and I support that entirely. And we will continue with that approach. The notion of passive receiver, the issue of passive receiver, is very important to a number of senators on your committee and others. That is an issue that, if confirmed, I pledge to work with our dedicated career staff and to look at ways in which we can avoid a situation in which customers of water utilities would be forced to pay for contamination they didn't put in the water to begin with. And I look forward to working with your committee on that.
Great, thank you, thank you. Mr. Tell, we had a hearing on Corps of Engineers and the implementation of some of their programs. This is a daunting challenge, I think, to step into the position that you're in, because the slowness and the sluggishness of some of the work that we know is critical is, I think, universally felt by all of us. So, and this goes to the fact that the Army Corps is actively working on nearly 100 ongoing feasibility studies and general reevaluation reports. These will result in projects later on, as you know, in authorizations and appropriations. How will you ensure that projects and other activities are appropriately prioritized in work plans and balance the competing water resources in the country?
Chairman Capito, you've identified the fundamental issue as it relates to this nomination, which is this is a complex and exhaustive set of challenges. The demand for the Corps' work is greater than the supply. The Congress is incredibly interested in the projects and the work of the Corps of Engineers, as you have identified. And the core principle, and when it comes to prioritization in a constrained budget environment, is to follow the law. And the law says that the Corps' primary missions are navigation, enabling commerce on America's waterways, flood mitigation and control, and environmental aquatic ecosystem restoration. And so those have to be the primary beacons when it comes to prioritization, examining how the projects meet those missions as the Congress has laid them out, setting priorities on the basis of benefits versus costs, life and safety, and other factors that ultimately will play into all these decisions, and it's a complicated one.
Thank you. Senator Whitehouse.
Thanks, Chairman. Mr. McMaster,